Hola a todos, estoy en Valencia, España, y hoy voy a probar el restaurante. Se llama Mon, M-O-N. It's a little pizzeria kebab place. It's one of the first restaurants here I saw when going to my homestay. Currently doing study abroad stuff. So I got a kebab, which is more like a wrap. They call different foods different things here. Or like a roll, I guess. So on the side over here, or like in the first little clip, you can see they have like pizzas, kebabs, and it's more like a sandwich rather than like, on the stick. Then the rollo is more like a wrap, and then their taco is more like a burrito. And then they have hamburguesas, little like boxes, which is more just like a bowl, what we call in the States. And then, it comes with fries and a soda, and, I could have chosen Coke or Sprite, but these are really good and a lot healthier, I think. I would be surprised if it wasn't. But yeah. So I'm very excited to try this place. This is obviously first food review in Spain. I have been to many other restaurants, but this is my first time eating at a restaurant like by myself. That's as far as I'm aware. But yeah, at the end of the trip, when I get home, I will make a video kind of reviewing or like going over, worst to best foods I've had here. Not including, like, the other night I did have Taco Bell because, I kind of needed a little America in my life. It was also late as fuck. I will say, like, all of their food here is more bland. They don't have the same restrictions as food stuff. Like, they're more strict here with their food. Can't put as much chemicals or toxins, that we have. And I had a Dr. Pepper last night for the first time since getting here, and it tasted more like how like Diet Dr. Pepper does. So yeah, the food here should be healthier in Spain because they're more strict with what they can and cannot eat. However, the Spanish food generally tends to, like, god damn, this fucking bitch ass fly, holy, tends to be, like, more bland, I'd say. And it's very weird because, seasoning exists, but they're not always using it, I'd say. And service standards, I guess, are different here too, because, it's pretty rare in the States, I guess, that you get like a server that's like a complete bitch. I hate to use that harsh word. That word applies to everybody for me. If you are a bitch, you're a bitch. It doesn't matter who you are. But yeah, we've had a few servers, in this study abroad group that have been pretty much fucking assholes for no fucking reason. And I'll talk more about that in the video that I make going over all the food at the end of the trip. But very interesting. And it's also like they get paid no matter what. Like, they're not on a tip. They don't do tips here. So there's no reason to act like a bitch because you still make money either way. It's not like your customer tipped you $2 on a $100 tab. Then I would understand maybe being a bitch, People who tip like that deserve, to be bitched out. But yeah. So far, having a great time here. Just showered last night. Spain beat Austria 3-0. Was at a sports bar, and like my friend Naomi, she just so happened to pick one that is owned and operated by two Texans, and not only are they Texan, they're from Austin, and their kids go to the same university that I'm going to. Just randomly in Valencia, Spain, of all places. So that's tough. It was I did have a burger there last night. I should have taken a picture. But it was a pretty banging burger. It had like aioli, cheese, double patty, and jalapenos. Pretty fucking good. And I tried an amaretto sour for the first time. Absolutely fucking fire. It was more like, I don't know what the flavor was, but there was like a maraschino cherry in there, and that was a lot of the flavor, and I love that flavor. So, and they're really effective. I was only like halfway through my first one, and I was feeling tipsy. But yeah, I'll probably cut back for when the food gets here. This restaurant, I mean, you can hear the cars probably. It's on a pretty busy street, but I don't think this restaurant gets much attention, I guess. Our little homestay for me and my two roommates is like kind of a little Pakistani neighborhood, I'd say. I might be wrong. I might be in the ballpark, but I've seen like a lot of Arabic around, and you know, a few Pakistani businesses. I haven't seen any like obvious like other ethnicities. Pakistani is like the only one that's been like blatantly obvious when I walk around in this area, which I'm not even too far from like the square or like the El Centro. But yeah, I will talk more about what's happened and things I've done when I cut back con la comida. Okay, the food is here. It took about like 15 minutes, which, or like give or take, you know, 15 to 17. Oh shit. It's a lot bigger than I fucking expected. Which I think is a pretty good time, especially considering like they don't get too much foot traffic, which means, you know, it's harder for them to keep things in a groove per se. You know, they kind of have to make things fresh. There's a fry with the sauce. I almost just went straight in without saying it. This shit's hot. I think that's ranch. I haven't had ranch yet. It's not popular here. Couldn't tell you why, because ranch is fucking gas. Okay, low-key need napkins. Fuck. Anyways, I'm gonna try to show this without getting straight bust on my hand. Anyways. A lot bigger than I thought. I did ask for the big size, so let's see how I can get into this. Yeah, it's definitely ranch and barbecue sauce. I'm gonna go try to get napkins real quick. But yeah, so ever since getting here, we first went to Madrid because that is, you know, the capital, basically dead center of Spain. And we were there for like 5 days. And I really loved it there. And I instantly felt myself getting more confident at, you know, speaking and hearing Spanish, which is good. Oh my God. It's fucking good. Yeah. W eats. But yeah, and then in Madrid we did all sorts of things, like a walking tour around the city. We went to Toledo. What else? We found this bar called Carbones 13, and I'll put a video up there, but great bar, so much fun. Had a good night there, drinking and stuff, and it was a crazy night. The second time we went there, when we watched the Brazil game, but I'm not going to go into the details. But yeah, look how this thing is massive. And the other day, we were in the city center. We kind of did a walking tour of Valencia, where we're at now. And after that, I figured I would bike home, and that's what I've been doing most of the time here in Valencia, is just biking everywhere, because for a $30 subscription, I get access to like all these bikes and little spots around the city. I just have to make sure to return the shit in a certain amount of time, or else I get charged extra, but it's not bad. And going from the city center to my homestay, I wanted to check to see if this bookstore had the textbook we needed. It didn't. So I biked there, and then when I was done, it said I had a 40-minute walk home, which was a lie. If you're gonna travel here, give yourself an extra 30 minutes, and then maybe you're okay. But I started walking home, and it's hot as shit. It gets in the 90s almost every day here. And so I'm walking this 40-minute walk home from like the center of the city, and like my homestay is far, far north, and my phone dies. And I knew where I was going. Like I had, it figured out. But at some point, eventually, I get in the right area, and I just keep missing the street. Like the street isn't as long as some of the other ones. So I just kept missing it. And it took me like 2.5 hours with no phone to find where, my homestay was at. Keep in mind, I'm in a foreign country, and I was chilling, I wasn't freaking out. I did get a little bit nervous at one point, but literally the longest walk I've ever taken of my fucking life. And this place to my right actually clutched up, because I had to come here and buy a phone charger so I could charge my phone to text my roommates to let me in, because I didn't have the key, because they went home before I did. So that fucking sucked. But yeah, during that walk, I saw so many things. I walked through a pretty, a lower class neighborhood. And I saw a Brazilian family, live react to a goal in a Brazil game. Shit was cinema. I eventually made it home, but I saw so much on that walk. In the following days after, it kind of gave me a culture shock almost. Those people weren't living in bad, horrible conditions. If I was living in their conditions, as far as I could see, I wouldn't hate my life. I wouldn't think I was you know, a bum or living in just straight poverty. Because, you know, they had a decent TV and, you know, things are a lot cheaper here on average. But yeah, it gave me a culture shock because, like, walking from the city center where it's like all tourism and these nice buildings, and then you kind of go out here and it's definitely poorer. I mean, still nice buildings. I mean, the buildings in the poor neighborhoods here absolutely mog the ones in the average neighborhood in the U.S. But yeah, that was very interesting. I mean, that shit took a whole day and a half to recover from. I will say this little kebab roll is absolutely massive and absolutely messy. Like, I might take this shit home, but it's so messy at the same time. Like, I'll probably just use the meat when I eat it next, because, like, pretty hard to keep this shit together. They loaded this hoe. Like, I think the meal, I mean, it says €9, which is probably about like 11, 12 bucks. Pretty good price. And it tastes great. My homestay has a pool, and it literally looks like it was built from heaven. It's so clear. It's so blue. And there's a tennis court, and I really want to play. I've been wanting to play tennis for the last like 6 months, and I have yet to do it. So I might be able to do it here. You know, tonight going to a sushi place with friends. The beach here is beautiful. If you are in, like, from the beach and in the water, like, it's the Mediterranean Sea, and if you look north, you can see like mountains and stuff, and it's just, I know we have a few places like that in the US, but I mean, as far as the beaches I've been to, you know, fucking Galveston, you know, because apparently the beach I go to, the Maya Rosa, apparently it's like a mid beach, but for American standards, it's a pretty good beach. Going on that walk, it was really interesting seeing like the two halves of the quality of life here and how it can get so touristy in the center, and then the second you step out, it's like almost neglected out here. And there's still like, apparently there's a McDonald's like a couple blocks from where I'm at, so it's not like completely dead, completely poor, but you know, it was definitely a side of, you know, living that I don't see much, especially in the States. Like, it's not very often I see poor neighborhoods in the US. I don't know. And the other day in class, like the day after the walk, I kind of had like a wave of pessimism, I guess, or impending doom kind of set over me, because in our classes we're learning about the whole study abroad thing is called contemporary issues in, you know, Spain or Valencia, and these issues that we're learning about that have been, you know, issues since before the year 1000, you know. The Muslims took over in 711, the year 711, and because of the, you know, the geography here, god damn these flies, they kind of just have the same persisting issues, like, always. And it's high-key just a repeating cycle, but it also made me, like, their issues, I think, with the government and stuff here are, like, smaller, I guess. I mean, it's a far smaller country. My God, this bitch-ass fly will not leave me alone. It's a far smaller country, but, you know, their problems are more visible. But in the United States, like, we have a bigger impending problem, I'd say. Like, you know, the impending rise of fascism. I mean, it's so fucking obvious. But we hide it better. Like, if you took a day drive through the United States, you would probably not see anything wrong with the country, actually. Even though we are, like, getting closer and closer to, being slaves. And no one's doing anything about it. And half the country still thinks that there is no problem going on. Because they're just fucking idiots. Like, there genuinely is a superior half of the U.S. that realizes that there's a fucking issue. And then the other half that's dragging us down. So either we're heading towards civil war, or, whoever... Civil War, World War III, or we're going to be a surveillance state and be slaves, essentially. I mean, we're already wage slaves, but, it's kind of a dead horse of a topic, I guess. Like, here it is really nice, but I think I prefer Madrid, rather than Valencia. I do love the beach, though, but them having a different language here in Valencia, it's just called Valencian. It's like Spanish and French kind of mixed, like a little bit. It's hard to explain. But yeah, knowing Spanish and kind of makes me prefer Madrid. But they actually have like a real public transportation system that, helps everyone. In the United States, the public transportation system is kind of just associated with homelessness. Like, if you're homeless or poor, you probably take public transportation, but here it's just like normal. Like, it's a totally normal thing to live here and not have a car and just take the bus or ride a bike or the metro. It's a lot different. And some people in the U.S. think that public transportation is like a genuine waste of time and money. And those people are fucking idiots. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna take this shit home. Because, I'm fucking it up. But it's also fucking my plate up. Still have a decent hold on it, but literally there's so much meat that's just like falling off. But I guess if I can try to take some of the I can maybe try to take the fries. I don't know. I don't want it to be like soggy and shit. But yeah, hopefully more things happen. I can talk more about other things I've done here, because like now that I'm on video, I don't remember what I wanted to talk about. But yeah, it's still very strange just being in a different continent, let alone a country. Like, when I go on Google Maps and I see Europe instead of the US first thing, it like hits me again that I'm not at home. But I'm doing okay. Like, I haven't felt homesick except for maybe when I was on the plane to go here. That plane ride, I mean, you know, it's like a 10-hour plane ride, and I'm like trapped in this little seat, and it's hard as shit to sleep because of how cramped it is, and I'm 6'2", 6'3". You know, felt like a little jail cell. But I felt like kind of homesick, I guess, but more because I like realized like, okay, there really is no more going back. Like, I'm locked in. Like, I can't, like, even if I was at the airport, I could suddenly just change my mind and be like, I'm not going. I realized I didn't want to go. I'm not going. Nope. I was on the plane. There's no turning back. And then I'm trying to think, the other day I got maybe like slightly homesick. Not for any reason, just realizing that I still had like 30 days or something left to go, or how many ever. Because it's the 3rd of July, maybe 2nd, I don't know. I don't think it's July 4th. I can't see. Oh, fuck. Okay, there we go. But yeah, I still have like 20 so days until I go back home. That's a couple weeks. But yeah, and the classes are pretty chill. It's just two. Just one that's like with the AIP Language Institute here for, you know, learning the language and just speaking and hearing and stuff like that. And then the other one is, you know, like the contemporary issues and stuff. I low-key can't believe I'm still eating. I don't feel full yet, really. Like a little bit full. Yeah, I think my favorite thing we've seen so far is Puerto Moros Valley. It's a Civil War monument, and it was built by the losing side, so it's a bit controversial. But there's people from both sides buried there, and it's like a little bit outside of Madrid. But I mean, it was just insane. It was beautiful, and I'll put pictures and maybe a video up of it in between. But it's absolutely ridiculous, like the architecture. And I mean, the average architecture here just completely mogs the United States, and they have more history in one building than we do in our whole country. Like the other day, we saw the world's oldest restaurant. I mean, we didn't even know we were going to do that, but on our walking tour, they took us by it. Like, yeah, here's the oldest, you know. Ernest Hemingway ate there. Salvador Dali probably ate there. I mean, just an insane thing to see, low-key. Like, the oldest running restaurant in the world. It's been open since, like, the fucking 1700s. Like, literally older than our country. Just, like, in that one restaurant. It's just crazy work, and it really does kind of suck to live in a country with history, like, that's, one, so short, and two, just mostly slavery. And it's not like my people were enslaved. It would be a little bit different if I could, you know, have pride in knowing that, you know, my ancestors were, but, you know, my ancestors were not slaves. My ancestors were not slave owners either. So I guess I'm like in the neutral of that whole thing. But like 250 years almost exactly of history, and yet most of it is just white people owning slaves. I mean, what is there to be proud about? But here in this country, even in this city alone, there's so much to be proud of with your history, and, you know, a lot of things to not be proud of. For example, like, I'm sure Christopher Columbus maybe isn't the most exciting person for these people. I mean, he isn't really either anymore in the United States for obvious reasons. If you're not living under a rock. But yeah, I was telling my friends the other day, you know, we were talking about the Mexico game, And like, I want Mexico to win the World Cup, either Mexico or Spain. I don't want the U.S. to win because, we just don't really deserve it. It's not like anyone cares in our country either, so it'd be pretty much a waste. And, just the way our country's treating the world right now is just so ass. Like, it's going to be a fucking propaganda farm if the U.S. wins. Like, it's going to be, ooh, clearly our country's doing great because the World Cup was won by the U.S. It's going to be absolute horseshit, and it's predictable. And yet, it won't change. But yeah, I was telling my friends that, they're all of Mexican descent, that, like, I would happily trade privilege for culture any day of the week, because, like, I don't relate to the USA team. I mean, I was just born here. Like, literally, I was just born here. Like, it's not like my ancestors are, like, German, Czechoslovakian, Lebanese, but, like, not enough for it to be, like, a core part of my identity. And so I'm kind of just my own person without that much culture, I guess. Okay. Another thing with food in Spain, it'll be like 3 ingredients, like some form of potato, some form of meat, maybe a grain or something in there, I don't know. But I'm gonna take the fries and everything to go. Because, I mean, I probably ate half of it. And I've been eating this whole time. I gotta say, it was pretty good. One of the better meals I've had here. I will try to find this place officially on maps because I couldn't. I just knew where it was. I have to give it a solid, like, 7.8. Very hot. I assume fresh. Love that. Great price. I mean, I haven't paid yet, but, it's not going to be expensive. The meat, great texture. Every bite was very satisfying. The fries, pretty standard, but I would say better than the other fries I've had here. Most fries are literally just potato cuts and, and salt, like barely any salt. Obviously not like we do it in the States where it's a whole truckload on one thing. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. And I want to do food reviews for, like, other small places around the area, because I have yet to see, like, a single person other than myself step into this restaurant. And maybe I'll do something more like Spanish, I guess, like in the city center. We'll see. But I like to do my food reviews solo or with Bryn, of course. Bryn and I are like twins, like same person. So if I'm doing a food review with her, it's not like doesn't feel like I'm with someone else. But yeah, that's another thing, like, just chilling, I guess. But yeah, it's been the food review. Hopefully I can get this edited soon. I usually accidentally procrastinate everything I do with these food reviews, but maybe I'll work on it now while I wait to go get sushi. So yeah, hopefully I can get this out today. W Food, I'm gonna go pay 7.8. I'll have a picture of the place, the official name, and the title once I figure it out. But yeah, it's been the food review. Hopefully I can get more done soon. Yeah, I'll see y'all in the fucking next one. So yeah, I just paid, it was $9 exactly, or €9 exactly. So I'll see what that is in American dollars. It should be like literally $10.50 or like 11. I mean, for that, this will last me 2 meals. I mean, the prices here are so much better than in the US. which is very nice. You know, this trip has been very expensive, but you know, I don't think there's any cost too high for cultural exposure, and being able to see other parts of the world that you've never been exposed to. I mean, there's genuinely nothing, you can't really put a price on that that's too high. It's probably one of the best things you can do as a human being is see the world and expose yourself to other ways of life. It's like, I can't imagine being someone who is like so proud of my country that I would never want to leave for any reason, because I know there's people that would never step foot out of the US because they would probably say, well, we have everything here, why would I? Or, you know, you name a country and they're like, no, that's a shithole. And it's like, well, even if that's true, why would you not want to go see how people in that shithole live? Because it's still a different way of life, and there's things to be learned, and the pacing of the life here is just so much better than how we have it in the US. I mean, in the US, we don't really even get time to we have time to do things, but I mean, it just kind of feels like you go to work and you come home and it's like, that's your day. But here it feels like, you know, you actually get to do shit and think for a second about who you are and who you will be. And it doesn't feel like you're rushed at all. But yeah, that'll be the end of the video, like the real end of the video. But yeah, catch y'all later. See ya.